I love my mum, so this year for Mother's Day, I wanted to make her something really special. So today, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful Mother's Day card using Google Slides that you can print off and give to Mum on her special day. On the front page, we're going to create two beautiful banners using simple shapes and colours, and insert an image with rounded edges. On page 2, we're going to write a heartfelt message for Mum alongside another image. We're also going to write a Tanka poem, a type of Japanese poetry similar to haiku. On page 3, we're going to create an awesome Mother's Day finder word featuring a collection of words to describe your mum. And on the last page, we're going to design a simple logo for a card company. Now, these are just a few of the ideas and activities that you might include in your Mother's Day card. Feel free, however, to replace them with your own creative ideas, or pick and choose the activities that you like the best. It's also important to note that this card might take a few sessions to complete, so don't feel that you have to get it done in one sitting. Let's get started. Welcome to Google Slides. The first thing we are going to do is close the Themes panel on the right-hand side of the page. Then, drag and select all the placeholder content on the slide and press Delete. Now, let's name our document something sensible, like Mother's Day Card. Remember, this document will automatically be saved in your G drive. After this, we are going to adjust the size of our slide to look a little more like a card. To do this, select File and scroll down to Page Setup. Select Custom in the drop-down menu and change the unit of measurement to centimetres. Change the dimensions to 14.8 by 21 centimetres, which is the size of an A5 page. Now you'll notice that your page looks a little more like a card. Next, we are going to create a banner at the top of our card. To do this, select the rectangle shape from the Shapes drop-down and drag a thin rectangle shape across the top of your page. Leave a little space either side of your rectangle. With the rectangle still selected, choose the border color tool, the little pencil, and pick black. Then choose the border weight tool and choose 2 pixels. This will create a nice thick black outline around our rectangle. Then, select our fill color tool, the paint bucket, and choose a nice light red color. Now, it's important to note here that you can choose to use different colors and fonts to the ones I'm using in this tutorial. In fact, I encourage it. This is only a guide on some of the design choices you might make. Next, double-click the inside of your rectangle and write Happy Mother's Day. Don't forget the apostrophe. Click and drag to highlight your text and select a different font. We are going to use the font Amatic SC with a font size of 48. We are also going to make the heading bold and align it to the center of the rectangle. Next, select the Shapes drop-down and in the Arrows menu, choose the chevron shape. This shape is going to form the edges of our banner. Click and drag the chevron shape so that it is about 1/3 the length of the rectangle. You can also adjust the angle of the chevron using the yellow slider in the top right. Now we are going to apply the same border color, black, and border weight, 2 pixels, to the chevron shape. This time, however, we are going to make the fill color 1 shade darker than the banner by selecting the circle below our original color. Right-click the chevron and select Copy. Right-click again and select Paste. Move this second chevron to the other side of the banner. Right-click and choose Rotate, flip horizontally. Now, click and drag a box to select both the chevron shapes. Right-click and choose Group. Right-click again and select Center on Page, horizontally. Do the same thing with our Happy Mother's Day rectangle to ensure everything is centered. You'll notice that if you try to drag the chevrons near the rectangle, that they are on top, which is not what we want. To fix this, right-click the chevron group and select Order, Send to Back. Select the whole banner and make any small adjustments up and down using the arrow keys. We are now going to duplicate our banner to write another message at the bottom of the card. Click and drag to select the whole banner. Right-click, copy, and right-click paste to make a duplicate. Drag the second banner toward the center of the page until you see a red line. This red line lets you know you are in the center of the page. Now, holding Shift, click and drag the second banner down to the bottom of the page and move the chevrons up slightly using the arrow keys. Let's change the color of our bottom banner to a nice green color, again making the fill color of the chevrons one shade darker. Because we copied this banner from the original, we don't need to change the border color or weight. Click and highlight the banner text and write a new message for Mum. The next thing we are going to do is add a nice photo in between our banners. To do this, select Insert, Image. Now, we recommend having some photos organized before starting your card and either uploading from your computer or G Drive. You can also insert a photo of yourself from the webcam using the camera option. Once you've inserted your photo, we need to crop the edges slightly to make it a little more square. Select Crop Image and then slowly drag the black sliders in from the left and right until you're happy with the changes, and then press Enter. As with our banner, we are going to add a black border with a border weight of 2 pixels. Now, we want to add some nice rounded edges to our photo. Select the photo and choose the drop-down arrow Mask Image next to Crop Image. Then select the rounded rectangle shape to mask our image. Use the yellow slider in the top left to reduce the roundness of our corners slightly. Now, drag your image toward the top banner. Whilst holding Shift, scale up the photo from the bottom right-hand corner until it fills up the remaining space. The last step is to right-click our photograph and choose Center on Page horizontally. And there we go. That's the front of our card done and dusted. To get started on page 2, right-click Slide 1 in the Slides panel and select Duplicate Slide. This will save us having to remake our banners. On Slide 2, drag and select the photo and bottom banner and press Delete. We only want to reuse the top banner. Select the text inside the top banner and write "A message to Mum." This is your chance to write a heartfelt message of your very own. To do this, select and drag a text box across a quarter of your page. Write your message directly into the text box or copy and paste it from another document like we've done. On the other half of this top section, we are going to include another picture using the same method we learnt on page 1. Select Insert and Image to find an image to use. We are going to use an image from when I was at school many moons ago. You might also decide to use an old school photo, a baby photo, or a photo of you and your siblings. Don't forget to add a black border with a 2 pixel border weight. Again, mask the image using the rounded rectangle and adjust the roundness using the yellow slider. Whilst holding Shift, resize your image from the bottom right-hand corner and place it next to your heartfelt message. Looking good. Now, for the bottom half of the page, select the top banner and right-click Copy, right-click Paste. Drag the duplicated banner to the bottom of the page. Change the banner title to read Tanka Poem, Tanka, and choose a new fill color. We are going to use the same green from the front page. In this section, we are going to write Mum a Tanka poem, a type of Japanese poetry closely related to haiku. A Tanka poem has 5 lines, each with a specific number of syllables. Line 1 has 5 syllables. Line 2 has 7 syllables. Line 3 has 5 syllables. Line 4 has 7 syllables. And line 5 also has 7 syllables. our Tanka poem reads, "Kind and generous, you are always there for me. When I am upset, or when the sun is shining, you know the right things to say." Take some time to write a beautiful Tanka poem for your mum using this unique structure. And when you're ready, copy and paste it into a new text box on page 2. Alright, let's move on to page 3 of our card. You're doing great so far. In the Slides panel on the left, right-click Slide 2 and select Duplicate Slide. On Slide 3, select everything except our top banner and delete. On this page, we are going to make Mum a find a word, so let's change the text on our banner. Next, select Insert Table, and make a table that's 10 squares across and 10 squares down. Right-click the edge of the table and select Center on Page horizontally. Insert another table 4 squares across and 3 squares down. This is where we will place our search words. Drag this table below the 10 by 10 grid, resize from the bottom right-hand corner, and center on the page. Now it's time to come up with some lovely words that describe and represent your mum. We're using a collection of adjectives like lovely, kind, caring, and supportive. Make sure caps lock is turned on, and then write these words in each of the table cells. You can also use the arrow keys to move quickly between cells in your table. Now, click and drag to select all the cells in the bottom table. Adjust the size of the text to be as big as possible without going over 2 lines, and then align the text to the center and middle of the cell. Looks good. Now, choose View, Zoom, 100% to get a little closer to your Find a Word grid. Here's the fun part. Now it's time to add all the words to your table, but make sure caps lock is still switched on. Add the bigger words first so you know they will fit, and make sure you don't leave any words out. Lastly, go back through and fill in any blank spots with random letters. And there we have it, one awesome Mother's Day Find a Word. Now, on the last slide, we are going to keep things really simple. Duplicate Slide 3 and delete everything. We are going to insert a small logo for a card company, like you'd see on the back of a real card. Our class recently designed logos in Google Drawings using simple geometric shapes. This is my logo for the Teach Wonderful card company, with an apple that I made using a hexagon and 2 parallelograms. You can make your own logo in Google Drawings or even in Google Slides if you prefer. I'm going to copy and paste the logo on page 4 and readjust the position until I'm happy. And there we go. Now, this last step might seem a little strange. We are going to click and drag Slide 4 in the Slides panel and place it above Slide 1, so the logo slide is now first. Trust me with this, it's going to look awesome. Now that we've finished the design side of our card, it's time to print using File, Print. There's a few options you need to select to make sure our card comes out as expected. Firstly, under More Settings, make sure the paper size is A4 and select 2 pages per sheet instead of 1. Also, make sure the scale is set to fit to paper. Next, make sure the options Print on both sides and Flip on short edge are selected. If you've selected all these settings correctly, your card should come out of the printer and be ready to fold and deliver to Mum on Mother's Day. Now, here's another tip. If you only have access to a black and white printer, change the fill colours of all your banners to white before printing, so you can colour in your banners using pencils or markers. So, what other activities might you decide to include in your Mother's Day card? Well, you might include an artwork you've recently completed, or a short story you've written. You might design a comic strip, or include a few jokes or riddles. You might even include a collection of Mother's Day coupons, offering to complete different chores around the house for Mum to redeem throughout the year. The design choices are totally up to you. So, there we go. One awesome Mother's Day card that Mum is sure to love. The only thing you need to worry about is how you're going to top it next year. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey there! If you like what we do here at Teach Wonderful, make sure to subscribe to our channel. You'll also find plenty of amazing teaching ideas, student worksheets, and merch over at teachwonderful.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.